No one will never forget and will ever forget Nuba. Even if you live in foreign countries, you are in Europe, in abroad, anywhere else, you will never forget about Nuba people.
In this program, we are talking to a Sudanese refugee in Kenya, Micah Butrous, who belongs to the Nuba people. Can you explain a little bit of why we did this interview?
The reason is that I grew up partly in Sudan in the early 1960s. My father was working with statistics in Sudan, and he told me about the bloody civil war going on already at that time between the government in the northern part and the people in the south. And this war has continued to go on. And in this program, Micah Butrous tells us about how it developed in the 1990s. And the important thing is that in 2011, South Sudan gained its independence from the north. And it looked hopeful from the beginning, but in 2013, a new civil war broke out, and many people had to flee the country. And this war is sometimes described as a forgotten or ignored war, despite the many people who have died and so forth. So this program aims to shed some new light on this issue. Well, hello, Micah. I know we have met before, and I know that you belong to the Nuba people in Sudan. But can you tell me a little more about yourself and who you are and so forth, that we can get to know you?
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Leif and Ola. Okay, my name is Micah Butrous, Sudanese by nationality, Nubian by tribe, and I am in Kenya, Eastern Africa, as a refugee in the camp. And I am glad to meet you and talk much about Nuba people and tell you more about the background of Nuba people and what they do, what they are doing, and the life at Nuba currently.
Which group do yourself belong to among the Nuba people, the people living in Kordofan, I know, and so forth. And there's the Hill Nubians, and there are other parts of the Nuba people. And can you tell us about your own, where your family came from the beginning?
Okay, basically where I came from Nuba people, from Nuba Mountain. I came from Hebant locality in a small village called Jimizai, and my tribe inside we call it Lera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the Hill Nubians; it's some other part of the Nuba people, is it? Or it's not on the hills. Yeah.
Yeah, generally entirely in Sudan, in Nuba Mountain, we have many hills. We have many hills, and note that people are not only in those past years, long ago, people were living in mountains, but with time, others have come down at the bottom of the hill, and they're settling down. For me now, I'm not settling on the top of mountain. I am just settling on the bottom of mountain.
Okay. Well, can you tell us also something about the wars? There have been, several wars. It started, I think, already in the 1960s or something like that, with this civil war between the north and the south part and so forth. And can you describe something about how this has affected the Nuba people and so on?
Well, in 1980s, when the war started in Nuba mountains, people suffered a lot because in Nuba Mountain, we have some places where we don't have water, we don't have equipments, we don't have some facilities that can facilitate human settlement life. And that happened since that when the war occurred, many people were suffering, going distant for 2 hours, 3 hours, with a 1 jerrycan to look for water. People were suffering, no clothes to wear, no food, no sufficient food where you can cultivate for a little and get living life standard was very difficult. You will not get a soap for washing clothes. People were suffering a lot of typical life. That is long years ago, from 19 some there. The life was typically very, very hard there. So, and exactly to those who had some cattle, we are able to survive from their livestock items such as meat or milk or some. But others, those two were not having, they were suffering. Life was very, very bad. You cannot get a meal. Life was hard those years in 19s.
Can you tell us about the background of this conflict and what is the main causes and so forth, as you understand it, and what are the driving forces behind the conflict, the background, and so on?
Yes, to what happened about conflict in Nuba Mountain in the year 2011. So the war broke out between, there was election held in Sudan for two parties that they should take over and rule a state, just a state, not a country. But now coming to the person who's ruling, was taking Nuba people as their leader, who is Abdelaziz Adam Al-Hilu, was denied the votes. They denied him, they stole his votes. And Nuba people, because they have been suffering and we have been only depending on one state that it can bring income, can cost us to a lot of many changes to the Nuba people. We have seen that these Arab people from the north denied us chance for getting a state where we can be free and also get some facilities to help or also make development to our communities. So the people said now, since we are not given a chance to do so, we can fight so that we can bring in, we can snatch the power from Arab people. So
if you describe the situation again, maybe in a short terms, what they are in the Nuba areas now.
The current situation in Nuba Mountain, it is really terrible, very difficult. So it is hard because there is no medication services. People have to go a long way for 3 days, 4 days to look for medication. Somebody sick, they cannot be treated very easily. The professional personnel who can help them, they are not there because of poor education system and life in Nuba Mountain. There is no better means. Arab people have never offered us chances because they are the most in the government and the ones who are leading now in Sudan. They could not grant us. This is one of the factors that led to the Nuba Mountain people fight against such tribalism things that has caused all these problems. Today, situation in Nuba Mountain is terribly very, very bad. Whether with the young person or the adult person or the medium people, everybody is suffering. Whether economically, socially, politically, everybody is suffering there. The situation typically is very, very hard. There is no feeding system very well. There is no education. There is no minister of transport. There's nothing. There's, you want to move to a certain location, you have to move for 3 days, 4 days until you reach there. It is tiresome for really want to really survive in Nuba Mountain. Current situation really is very, very difficult in Nuba Mountain. And this has resulted because of the marginalization system that occurs with the government side of Khartoum, particularly the Arab people who marginalized Nuba people in the earliest 19s up to date.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Can you also speak something about the Nuba culture? I know that, for example, dancing and wrestling plays an important role. There's many different kind of cultures in the mountain. And can you just shortly describe some of the features?
Well, Nuba people have distinct cultures from any other people around the world. Because today, the most popular activities Nuba people are carrying, they are rest of us. told to identify out heroes within themselves. You are the person who rest also have much power. You are a giant, and then people know that this is a very huge person, and then you are popular among others. But of course, this is one of the culture that unites people, noble people, and that can bring particularly we have different tribes in Novo Mountain. But with all this, to make things more again good, these cultures has really bind people together, has bring them together, has educated them, has civilized them, and so many. Wrestling is one of the cultures that Novo people adopt today, and as well, Novo people are using their farmers. They keep livestock, and also they use agriculture products for themselves, and then they use it to, for the better survival. Since, Arabs has not given us freedom to educate ourselves, to use our own sweat of the pen, so that we're able to work in the field of our qualifications. We use so unless the people are sweating with their sweats around, so and then they eat, or mainly now before I came before the war, people using crops in the exchange of money, so that they have to educate their kids. So we are not educated that maybe we have to get money through employment. So we have been self-employment, working from the ground, toil. Then you have to really have that. So it was very hard really during those days. And one of the culture of Nuba, that they are miners. They mine the gold, the silver, the diamond, and this is one of the things that we adopted since earlier in long years ago with our grandparents, that they've been using in the North Sudan, especially in the Makuria Kingdom and Adongala. So this is one of the things that they have been using, and then also they have also made market products within the Arabs long time ago. And this is one of the things that has brought Arabs to come and conquer us again, using weapons and displaying our people from Sudan, now from the main land that they have been using, great land, into the mountains. Initially, people were not living in the mountains, but because due to the displacement, due to a lot of many problems that we faced through the threats of the Arabs, so we have to flee again to go to the mountains and secure ourselves. So today, people are also really, they have different cultures, dancing, of course, and many other things that, of course, like 99 tribes, if every people, every tribe, they have different style of dancing, and also presentation in the ministry hall, their own identities. But today, the popular activities, as I said earlier, enough, through that binary Nova people is through through like rustling and so other. Intermarrying also is one tribe. This has also created a union, has also created togetherness with us, with other people from the mountains. And it's great, actually, one of the cultures we're adopting today, and we're still, no one will never forget, and will ever forget Nuba. Even if you live in foreign countries, you're in Europe, in abroad, anywhere else, you will never forget about Nuba people. They have great cultures, they have great identities, and they have great things that we will not forget in the history.
Yes, some of the features of the Nuba culture, such as wrestling and dancing and so forth, are also found in the tombs in ancient Nubia, the great Nubian kingdom in ancient times. And can you tell us something about that?
Well, those are the cultural things that you normally see in the design of Nuba, especially when you go today to Dongala, you get some of the designs of the Nuba people. The arts that they have earlier now was representing the heroes of the Nuba people, represents the queens, the kings, and then also the beloved kingdom of the half long years ago, and how warriors they are. We know through the civilization of Nuba kingdom in the earliest centuries, before BC, they were very advanced people. They were very united people, and they have been actually the great people in history, as we remember today. And they are very good people. So the arts that they are representing defines themselves early enough. And this is one of the things today still we have. We have not forgotten them. This is one of the history. This is one of the designing that we still have up to now. Some of them in the Nuba mountains. We have to design. Remember our heroes. In long days ago, we didn't have technologies like today that we have to post and put our intellectuals in the media, but through the design that they are posting on the rocks or also in any of the walls represents that this is one of our heroes in the long history.
Yes. Can you tell us also something about this situation in Ukraine, the war going on that has caused so many problems in the world, even in Sweden, and I'm sure where you live also. Can you tell us a little bit about that issue?
Well, the situation, of course, that happened in Ukraine and also in Russia has caused a lot of many problems to the world, not only particularly to the camp that I'm staying today, but particularly in the world. Why so? Because today, trying to move from another country to another, the initially payment that the airplane ticket that it was before, it has rested the dollar sign. The dollars has increased. If you are like initially paying a little amount to go to a certain country, nearby country or visiting, today it has also raised. The amount of the movement facilities is really very difficult. Then another thing is that all the products in the market has become expensive, especially like the food items, the clothes, the electronic materials, everything today has costed. Today, even here, it is not simple for somebody to afford electronic machines around and then use the way you want it because of all expenses that you have to spend. Initially, if the phone is $50 today it can be $200. You cannot afford that. So it is very, very hard for somebody living in the camp to do that. So it is really very, very difficult. So life that has, for me, really, the way I survive in the camp, it is really very difficult for me because I still want to spend a lot. I wanted to become myself. I wanted to spend a lot on myself. And with this, I will not get it because this life, everything has become expensive. The food itself, the materials, the clothes to wear, everything that you have to touch in the market today is very expensive due to the war that has raised the dollar from different places in the world. If dollar raised today and in the market also, everything will also rest in the market. So this is one of the big problems we're experiencing also in the camp here.
Micah, now that you're outside, could you show us a little bit of the camp, what it looks like, if you have the camera on?
Okay, fine. Let me try to see how to give out the structure of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it is, and this is the building of the house we have. You can see, and because I'm inside within the compound, this is the structure of the houses. We local mood we have built it where we stay, and moreover we have with plastics here. So if I am in the field, I can show you better. This is the fence a bit. We're using the yes, you can see. This is where we are living.
Okay. You said there are 500,000 people in the camp. 500,000.
Yes, absolutely. 500,000 people in the camp.
Oh, that's lots. Who is organizing the camp? Who organizes everything?
Of course, these things, these are the UNHCR, those who are handling the refugees here in the camp. Moreover, in any issues, UNHCR is the one taking responsibility of refugees in the camp.
How long ago did you come to the camp? When did you flee? Also, what year?
Yes, I flee in the year 2013, but it has when I came to Kakuma here, it is in 2014. I have about 8 years here in the camp. Also sums to 9 years from 2013.
You have been telling me about there's some kind of work in the camp, and I wonder what kind of works can you get? What kind of employment and so forth?
Surely, as I studied early enough here in the camp, it is mostly life of refugees. You cannot get job easily. Here in the camp, if you don't have better certificates, if you have not finished university or you don't have any certificates, you cannot get a job. It's just manual sometimes work that somebody can call you for construction or for tuitions around for the kids around the home, or just private classes that you have to come and teach the kids around. But like to now get employment, you get employment and enjoy the sweat of your salary by the end of the month. It is hard here to get a job here in the camp. So if you get a job, it cannot last for 1 year or something like that. It can go for a few days, then it is over. It is not. It is really only the host, the Kenyans who are here are the ones who have the control of all the things, and then here. Only few who can get a job, but not all the refugees can be employed.
Can you tell us something about your dreams, Micah, about the future for yourself personally, and the future also for the Nuba people? What do you want to achieve then?
Great, thank you so much, Leif. I am much passionate about my dreams, and also want to focus my dreams to help the Nuba people. I wanted initially to become a doctor, but the situation could not help me since I flee out from my country and I'm living in a diaspora in a foreign country as a refugee in the camp. But after all, today I have not stopped my dreams. One of my dreams that I wanted to help my Nuba people. I wanted to move a village into a town, into a better built country. So today, Nuba is still living in rocks, in places, in villages, in small tents. But one of my dreams is that I want every Nuba person to get a better minister of life achievement. They have to be educated. They have to get minister of advancing their lives. We have to change everything's lifestyles in Nuba Mountain in terms of feeding, in terms of education, in terms of socially, in terms economically, diplomatically, everything in Nuba Mountain. This is one of my dreams in Nuba culture, to advance the culture of Nuba people, to make better means like Nuba people should really realize themselves and also regain back the hidden civilization that was rendered in the last century. So one of my dreams that I have to make more of my Nuba people discover actually what they are themselves.